Soul Sanctuary family, a little bonus foot video for you today. This video was originally on YouTube in collaboration with vivobarefoot, and I do have a discount code which I will leave in the description box that you can all use. But this is all about strengthening and mobilizing and becoming more aware of the feet. The feet, the most important part, one of the most important parts of the body, but probably one of the most neglected parts of the body. We know the spine's important. We do all the spinal movement. We know the glutes are important, the core, the shoulders, all of that stuff. And yet we spend most of our time on our feet and we are not giving them the love and the awareness that they deserve. So that is what this practice is all about. We're going to start in this seated position just for a moment, as we always do, just to ground in. And today we're going to start in a Baddha Konasana. So if that doesn't feel super comfortable for you and your knees are really high up, you're going to sit yourself up on a block and do it this way. And if you've got extra blocks, you can place your blocks underneath your knees. And you are going to bring the feet together, hopefully being able to touch the toes. And then we're going to bring the fingertips together and just hold the fingertips so the arms are also mimicking this shape of the body. And the fingertips are coming together as well. Fingertips touching are the reflexology points that link to the brain. So especially when we're in a practice where we want to be linking that retraining and that brain pathway, this is a really, really good hand position to start with. So just closing down the eyes and just noticing, becoming aware of the breath, becoming aware of the body. Noticing the toes touching, the heels touching. Maybe more of your awareness is on your hips right now. If so, just making that comfortable seat even more comfortable, whether or not that's to add a cushion or a couple more blocks. Sitting tall through the spine, growing the crown of the head up to the sky. Just gently breathing here. Two more breaths, finding an inhale. Exhale. Another inhale. And exhale. Releasing the hands and releasing the feet. You can just take one leg either out straight or you can keep it where it was bent. We're just going to work on separating the feet. So ladies, those of you that paint your toenails and use toe separators, great. We're going to use nature's toe separator, aka the hand. So I'm going to place my ankle onto my knee just to give a little bit of support here. And I'm going to place a finger between each of my toes. Now, this may feel a bit uncomfortable. It's the first time you're doing it, especially if you are used to wearing shoes that squish your feet together. This was really uncomfortable for me. I've still got dancers' feet that are used to being squished into point shoes and things like that. And so I'm working, as you can see, with vivobarefoot to unravel all of the damage that has been done. So just moving the foot around, you can push the toes back, you can draw them towards you. But finding this separation through the toes and going really gentle here. Like I said, if this is your first time doing this, just even not moving the foot, but just holding the fingers between the toes and just becoming a little bit aware of how that feels, any pressure that could be building up here. And you could even give yourself with the thumb, if the thumb's not involved, which I'm assuming, like me, you've got your thumb on the outside, you could even give a little massage to that inner line of the foot while you separate these toes. I'm going to take another 2 breaths here. And then you're going to release and switch it to the other side. So already maybe feeling a little bit more expanse in the toe base. So again, finding those fingers, and you may notice that one foot feels completely different to the other. I definitely feel my right foot, I find this a lot easier. I broke a toe on my left foot and again have been rehabilitating that, but for a really long time now, because obviously we need to use our feet so much that it doesn't always give it time to heal as quickly as you want. So if you're in a similar situation, maybe ankle, foot injuries, anything like that, just noticing and becoming more aware of where tension lies, of where resistance is. So just moving here. And again, maybe you want to give yourself that little massage, feels really good. Another 2 breaths. And then releasing. So from this seated position, you're just going to ground down through the feet and come to find a malasana, but we're all going to be up on the toes in our malasana today. So normally you might have heels down in your yogic squat, but we're going to have toes, heels up and toes down today. And I just want you to rock side to side. And as you do, maybe you just come into the full mobility of the foot. Pushing up onto the toes, probably going to hear lots of clicking from me and probably a little bit of clicking from your own body as well. You can always hear me coming up and down the stairs because of all the clicking. So just shifting side to side, grounding down through the toes. And then you're going to push those heels down. Bring the toes to face the front. You could bring both hands onto blocks here. Just want to find, we're not coming into a deep forward fold. We're just working on the feet here. So you may want to have a little bit of support. You're just going to lift up onto the toes of the right foot and then bring the heel back down and then lift the toes up. Place them down and do it to the left side. So you come up onto the toes, up onto the ball of the foot. Heel comes back down and then we lift the toes off, spreading those toes as much as you can. We go to the right again, lifting the heel off, coming onto the ball of the foot, pressing into the toes, and then heel comes down and toes lift off. To the left side, lifting the heel up onto the ball of the foot and the toes, and then lowering the heel down and lifting those toes up. Now you're going to remove your blocks and come to standing, and you're going to do the same again. So you're going to push into the ball of the foot, bring the foot back down, lift the toes. You can bring your feet a bit closer together if it feels a bit more comfortable, lifting up the heel. Heel comes down and we lift up the toes of the left foot. Now we're going to try and do both feet together. So we're going to push up onto the toes, lowering down and then lift the toes off. And we're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower and toes lift. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, root down, toes lift. Again, inhale, lift up. Exhale, release, toes lift. Beautiful. You're going to lift, I'll keep facing you. So the great toe, the big toe, I like calling it the great toe. So we are going to try a bit of isolated movement, and this is part of actually vivobarefoot's toga. So this is one of their exercises that they would advise everybody do, and it's using these isolated movements to get the great toe, the big toe, to separate slightly. So the tendency here is going to be to focus so much on the feet that the rest of the body gets really tight and tense. So I want you just to try and soften through the upper body. Just kind of feel a little bit soft. And we're going to use the breath. We're doing yoga. We're going to use the breath to guide the movement. So you're going to try and take an inhale as you lift just the big toe. And then exhale, place it down. So you can do both toes together, okay? So we're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Amazing. You're going to do 5 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Doesn't matter how high it goes. It might just be a little bit for now. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. And notice if the other toes are trying to lift up as well. You really want to push those toes down as you isolate the lift in just the big toe. One more time, lifting that big toe. And release it all the way down. Come into a few little bounces here. So pressing into the ball of the feet and just softening through the body. This is actually something that I do loads for a little bit more of an embodied practice, but this is actually a really good, nice way to strengthen the feet as well. And we're going to lift that into some little bounces here. So you're actually lifting off the ground. So you're almost taking little jumps. And then you're going to take split jumps. So forwards, backwards with the feet. You're going to do it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to lift the big toe again 5 times. So remembering that breath, and you could even add an inhale, arms up, exhale, arms down, if you wanted to just try and find that kind of like dual action happening, but that's going to require quite a lot of brain power. So see how you get on. So we're going to inhale, lift that big toe, exhale, down. Inhale, lift it. Exhale, down. It's like I have to look at them. Take an inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Maybe you try doing it with the eyes closed. Exhale, down. Last time, inhale. And exhale, down. We're going to come back down to a seated position just to show you another little exercise here. So this is a little bit of resistance work. So you're going to take, you could use an elastic band or a really, really small mobility stretch band, like physio band, but we're going to do it with our own hands. So you are going to press the toes towards one another, but you're going to use the muscles of the toe and of the foot to resist that motion. So you're going to use your fingers to press them inwards, and you're going to fight against it. Keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. That's a lot, and probably feeling it all the way up the legs as well. So we're going to do that again. And again, like I say, ideally we would be doing this with some kind of elasticated band, but this will do. You could do it with a hair tie if it was a pretty strong one. So you're going to take the 2 index fingers, you're going to place them to the inside of the big toe. You're going to press the big toes towards one another, but then you're going to use the big toe muscles to push and resist against the index finger for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it down. You're going to come up to standing, and we're going to take those bounces again. So no jumping, just bouncing for now before we move into the little jumps. Keeping the whole upper body nice and loose. And then finding the little jumps. So creating a little bit of air, strengthening those feet. And then the switch ones. Keep bouncing here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come to stand near the top of the mat and ground down here. Take an inhale, lift all of the toes. Spread the toes as wide as you can, and then one by one, seeing if you can place the toes down to the mat. So big toe coming last. And then again, take an inhale, lift the toes. Exhale, lowering baby toe. The next one, next one, next one, next one, big toe. We're going to ground into the left foot. So when I say ground into, we want to be really thinking about the heel, the big toe, and the baby toe. So we're getting that full expanse of the whole foot. You're going to lift and peel the right foot off the ground, point the toes, bring the knee in. And then flex the foot. Point the toes, flex the foot. Point the toes, flex the foot. Take an inhale here. Exhale, take it all the way out through a warrior three. So hips are square. You're pushing the heel away from you. Seeing again, can you spread those toes? We're going to travel that back foot all the way down to a high lunge. So as soon as the toes hit the mat, really ground them in and feel into that. Hands to the hips, lean the chest forwards as you just shift forwards and backwards in this high lunge, maybe getting a little bit of an extra stretch through that underlayer of the feet, so the underneath of the toes, shifting forwards and backwards while strengthening that left supporting leg as well. We're going to take an inhale, push off that leg, come all the way back to standing. Take the right leg straight out in front of you. It doesn't need to be really high. It can be sort of roughly where mine is or even lower. You're going to try and isolate movement from the ankle now. Being mindful the hip is going to try and do this work. So you want to turn the foot out from the ankle, bring it to center, turn it in. Center, out, in. Okay, so just moving here. And even I can notice my hip so desperately wants to make this movement bigger, but I'm really trying to just take it a little bit from my ankle, just a little bit. It's not going to be a huge movement at all. And then we're going to lower that foot down and shake it out. And we're going to go the same to the other side. So we're going to ground into that right foot. Remember, all parts of that right foot. We're going to peel the left foot off the ground. Bringing that left knee into the chest, hands can be to the hips. We're going to point the toe and flex. Point and flex. Point, flex. Point, flex. Keep that flex there as you take that left leg all the way back, finding the warrior three. Hips are square, spreading through the toes. Have a think about the direction you're heading as you take it all the way back to that lunge, planting the toes down. Keep the chest on the diagonal, hands to the hips, as you shift forwards and backwards here. And then you're going to push off that back leg, come all the way back to standing, reaching the left leg out in front of you. And again, you're going to take that tiny little bit of movement, just side to side, but trying to make it through the ankle without letting the hip do the work. Super hard. And then release it all the way down and just have a little shake out. From here, we're going to take an inhale and rise up onto the toes, reach the arms up to the sky, breathing in. You're going to exhale, bend the knees, coming back to an Utkatasana, but with the toes grounding and the heels lifted. So you might not get super low here. It's a hinge of the hips and a bend of the knees. I've swept my arms all the way back, and I just want to hold here. Spine is long. I'm not just collapsing through my back. Ribs are in. Grounding down through the feet and lower yourself down into a forward fold. Take an inhale as you lift and lengthen through the chest. Exhale, place the hands down and step yourself all the way back to a downward facing dog. And let's just pedal here. So again, bringing the awareness to the feet rather than just kind of mindlessly doing something we do all the time. Really be focused in that slow movement here as you lift one heel and you lift the other. You lift one heel and you lift the other. A few more times. Just breathing here. And then coming to find stillness. If your heels are already down to the ground, you may want to see how it would feel to lift the toes. You may also want to see if you can lift just the big toe here. Super tricky. So grounding down all the other toes and just lift that great toe. Take an inhale now, waving yourself forwards into a high plank. Drop the knees down and then sit yourself back onto your heels, untucking those toes. So from here, maybe you grab 2 blocks as a little bit of support. We're going to rock ourselves back and lift the knees just to stretch through that front line of the foot. If this feels really comfortable and you don't need the blocks, you obviously don't have to have the blocks. You could just bring the hands together. Don't feel like you need to go really big here. Just keep it quite gentle. I'm going to be here for another 3 breaths. And then lowering all the way down. Place the hands down and just tap through those feet. And then just lift up onto the knees as you lift the feet and make circles with the ankles. So circles with the ankles going in both directions. And then tucking those toes under, you can keep your hands down to support yourself. You can also place your hands onto blocks to lift the chest slightly for a midway point. If it feels good to you, you can sit back on the heels here, lift the chest, close down the eyes, and you can take palms facing down onto the thighs. And just breathe here, noticing that stretching, tingling sensation all the way through the feet. If it feels too much, just take away some of that pressure, place the fingertips down to the ground or to blocks. I'm just going to stay here for a few more breaths. And then very gently releasing, hands coming forwards, untuck the toes and just take that little pat down. So just releasing, releasing, releasing. And then you're going to come all the way down onto your bottom. And you're going to bring the right foot forwards and then the left foot is going to come on top again. So we're just going to give the feet a little bit of love now. So that's all you're going to do is just rub your thumbs up through each toe. So you run it up underneath the toe of each one, lengthening through the toe. So this is the nice bit. This is like, oh, giving love to the feet, into the ball of the foot, down through center, through that inner part as well, through the arch. And maybe you give a little bit of a love as well into the heel, the back of the heel as well. And we're going to finish just here with just love for the feet. And then switching sides, bringing that right foot in now. Again, starting with that underneath of each toe, just pushing up, lengthening. Basically giving yourself a massage here today. And then the ball of the foot. And then coming up through the arch and the center of the foot. And then into the heel and maybe around the back as well. And then release, and then just sit back and just shake your toes out, shake your feet out, maybe make some silly noises. Amazing. Just come to seated. Let's take a breath here together just to finish the practice. So breathing in and letting it go. Thank you all so much, and thank you so much to Vivo Barefoot, because without their support, this video wouldn't be here for you all to enjoy. Drop a comment, let me know how your feet are feeling, let me know if you have taken on board what we've learned here today, whether or not you're going to transition to the barefoot lifestyle or whether or not you're already in it, which I hope that you are. Remember to check out the link and the discount code in my description box, and I will see you for another YouTube practice again very soon. Take care of you and take care of your feet. Goodbye.